Alright guys, welcome back to another video. In this video, we've got some pieces that, for me, obviously if you're fans of Slipknot, you'll know that this member is no longer in the band, but for me, he still has a place in my heart. I know with Jerry Jordanson obviously being removed out the band, and then obviously, I can't remember what year it was. That's probably really bad of me, but I know he died, I think maybe 2 or 3 years ago. I can't remember. But obviously in 2014, Jay Weinberg replaced. Not really much of a replace, in my opinion. To me, like, even though Jay's no longer in the band, I don't know. I can't not see him as a member. This new drummer, he's great. But there's just something about Jay, like, there's just something about his flair, and for me, he really carried that Slipknot feel. And obviously, I've got two masks that are Jay Weinberg replicas. But for me, before we get into that, it's just, for me, it's how he carried that Slipknot formula. And you'll see some people talk about that, but he was given such a basic, generic, boring, burlap type vibe. It was pretty plain. Obviously, it fitted him well, but you could see he was really getting comfortable, and then he started experimenting with different face paints and kind of creating his own identity. Which, for me, that's what Slipknot's all about. Is you have a base mask, and you'll see that throughout their whole career, even from, I'm not a massive fan of him, but Mike Path, like, he was given such a weird full head, burnt looking victim fucking thing. And obviously he started obviously messing about, doing different things, and that's what generally what I love about Slipknot. They don't do it much like these days, really, because if something goes wrong with their mask, they literally just get a new one. Let's be real. Yeah, some weathering comes in, but like back in the day, like if they had a rip or something was coming off, they'd stitch it together or just remove it, and then it added a different whole atmosphere towards that whole look. And they especially did that a lot with, even, I'd say, from self-titled all the way up to, even, I'd say, All Hope Is Gone. In my opinion, you didn't really see it much after that. But no, I've got two masks in this video, maybe a third, but the third isn't great. But I've got a story of what I want to do with it. But the first mask we have is none other than a 0.5. I don't want to call it a V2 just because it isn't, you know what I mean? Like, his first mask was pretty, obviously, as I said, basic, and obviously added like the face paints, but I actually don't know if it was a complete different copy or he added it on. I can't remember. But either way, this is so fucking cool. And you know what? I'm going to show it now just to show you, but not long ago, I bought a replica of, essentially, the 0.5 second variation kind of style of Jay's mask. And when it came, like in the photos, it looked really, really good, and I was really, really happy with it. And I will show you. It is, obviously, you can just tell straight away that this is nowhere near good as the 0.5 one I have now. Like, I was so happy with it. I was like, oh my god, finally I've got a Jay mask. But if you compare them, you really know which one is the real deal sculpt. Like, don't get me wrong, it's got the same sort of things. It's got the correct paint job. Like, if you look at it side by side, the paint job is fine. It's just certain details in the sculpt, and I'll show these with like the hero shots in a bit. But you can tell from like the brow to the nose to the actual paint that this is just way more quality. And surprisingly, I paid less for this than this. I paid pretty much 90 quid for this mask, which I want to eventually, I want to make it into the Japan version when they went on tour. I do want to get, like, just give it a bit of a paint job, get the red dot on it, just so, because I don't want to get rid of it, man. Like, it was the first one I got, and like, I do love it, but it's just one of those things where when you compare them, it's like, I don't even have to tell you, you know which one is better. However, I do want to do some modification on it, so I've got another version. Everyone wants another version in the collection. You can't say no. But yeah, and then this, lucky enough, and I'll show you, because I got these both at the exact same time. I got this and another mask I will show you in just a second for 75 quid, no postage. I could not believe it. And now literally all I need is 3 more of Jay's versions. I need the End So Far, the kind of We Are Not Your Kind V2, I don't know what to call it, and then his first ever one, and then I pretty much have all basically promo, kind of versions. I know there's some other ones where Jay's got the We're Not Your Kind one, it's all black. I know there's a few ones that he used one off because it was a place that they've never been before, or it's something to do like, like embrace the culture, to give the fans a bit of like, oh, we appreciate being here. But no, this is I'm so happy with it. Especially when, if Jay was still in the band, he would be my favourite member still. Obviously, I think because Jay's not in the band anymore, it's gone back to Sid. But when Jay was in this band, I had a new love for Slipknot. I don't know why. He's such a good drummer, and I love, even as a person, like even right now he plays for Suicidal Tendencies, and he does do random like drum guest shows and stuff, but he is just wicked.
Something that makes me feel alive, like that makes me feel alive. Really, the school I went to was, going to shows constantly, always watching the drummer.
We have the We Are Not Your Kind promo, debut, whatever you want to fucking call it. Essentially, when we first saw it in the Unsainted music video, we have the We Are Not Your Kind Jay. And I'm going to ramble a little bit. You're probably used to that already. I do accidentally go off on tangents, my bad, but I'll get there. This album for me, musically, it's not my favourite. It's definitely not in my top. It's not my top 3. But growing up, I wasn't really like the kid that knew all the media, knew all the news, and like when things really came out. And all the information I know now from like the old stuff, like I was young, I was fucking so young. My first introduction to Slipknot, I was like 6 years old, and it was the Wait and Bleed music video. So all the stuff then was like, I wouldn't have known. I didn't have fucking a phone and like, it's social media, and it wasn't the same back then. So all the information I know now is to do with the House of Masks. But this was like the first album where I kind of was old enough and to understand, and it was like I watched everything come together. So like it was so exciting seeing the Unsated music video and seeing all their masks, like, oh my god, because I wasn't there at the time to see All Hope Is Gone. I was quite young when Grey Chapter came out, and I was young to the point where I'd never know, like, oh yeah, they're teasing it. I wouldn't have understood what that really meant, but it was just really special. And I also love this mask because it was really, this is what I was saying with the 0.5, like, it was still the base mask, but he was messing around with it. It was the first time where Jay really, like, you saw his inspiration go into it, because we all know that Jay is a sick artist. Not even just when I talk about music, like, he is so good with his artwork. Like, if you look at his Instagram, like, some of the pieces he paints, like, it's crazy. And I don't know, there's something special about this mask, and I don't know why. I could have had anyone tattooed on me. I show up a photo now, but I have this mask tattooed on me, and I don't know why, man. It's just, there's something about it that's really special. Like, I think people will say it's corny, it's cringe, it's metal and stuff, but there's something about, sticking with like the OG pentagrams. He still kept like the burlap, so it was like the mask was evolving from what it once was, which is also very similar from like clowns' masks. You went from like the Iowa clown, it's bleeding, it's gory, blood everywhere. Volume 3, it's all taped up, it's all bandaged. Like, I like when a mask has a story from what it once was. It's a bit like with Corey's mask. It was, the Iowa Corey was just essentially a more brutal, professional version of the Ghost Glow and the Dummy. But I'm so happy with these. And I couldn't believe there is no way that I've got these two for 75 quid. This one, I was like, these are very common to find. Very, very common to find. But this, like, I don't see many people making them. Like, again, I said this in my last video. I may be fucking wrong. I might just be blind, or I'm not looking on the correct things. But for me, my old trusties, have a look on eBay, have a look on Vinted, maybe a few, you know, Facebook Marketplace type things. Like, even AJ has had some scores from Facebook Market. But I am so fucking happy to own these, and I literally just need three more J. I know I'm still focusing on my Iowa set, but I don't know, man. J is just, I don't know, something about it, man. I'm a massive fan of J. Gay for J, 100%. But that'll be it for this video. I will say, I know by the time you're seeing this, my video has been out. My last video has been about for about 8 days. As I said, I want to do these gradually. Soon I will be making some actual, like, I will be thinking of content and making videos, not just on reviewing a mask or anything like that. Like, I actually want to, like, do videos where I talk to you guys, give my opinions about things, maybe like videos like, oh, my top 10 favourite metal bands, just things like that. And I would appreciate if you left some things in the comments of what you want to hear my opinions about. But yeah, this will be this video, and I hope you really enjoyed it. Like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.